This is the chapter 6 solution problems and solution of Dr. Rajiv Mal's book on software engineering. So we are taking up today function oriented software design. Function oriented software design. So what do you understand by the term top down decomposition in the context of function oriented design? Top down decomposition. So the answer is the term top down decomposition here. It denotes the successive decomposition of the set of high level functions. So if we have high level functions, or we call them as a managerial functions. So these functions, high level functions of the system, they are successively decomposed into more detailed functions. So this is known as top down decomposition. Second is distinguish between DFD and a flowchart. So a flowchart represents the transfer of control between elements, while the data flow diagram represents the data dependency aspect. This is the control transfer aspect. This is the data dependency aspects. Differentiate between structured analysis and structured design in the context of function oriented design. Structured analysis and structured design. So structured analysis, this deals with, or is concerned with, the decomposition of high level functions, which I just intimated as the managerial function, into more detailed function successively, and then try to represent them in the form of data flow diagrams. What about structured design? Structured design is concerned, or it deals with, transforming this DFD into structured chart which can directly be used for programming. Structure chart. Fourth is point out important differences between a structure chart and a flow chart as design representation technique. So this question is quite obvious, structure chart and flow chart. So the answer is like this. They differ in the way that is the structure chart differed from this flow chart. There are three principal or key ways in which they differ from one another. First is, it is usually difficult to identify the different modules of a program from its flowchart representation. By flowchart, you cannot identify that which modules we can pick up or which modules we can form. The second is the data interchange among different modules. They are also not represented by flowchart. Flowchart doesn't cater to this. Flowchart cannot represent the data interchange between modules at all. Third is sequential ordering of tasks. Sequential ordering of tasks which are inherent in flowchart is rather suppressed in your structure chart, because flowchart is nothing but the sequential ordering of tasks only, control flow only. Fifth is what do you mean by the term data dictionary in the context of structured analysis? So you have to talk about write about data dictionary with reference to the structured analysis, and how is this data dictionary useful in different phases of life cycle of software product. Data dictionary is the central repository from which the data can be taken, and that possibly emphasizes and acknowledges the inconsistency. So a data dictionary, it lists all the data items appearing in the DFD model of a system. All the data items in DFD is listed in the data dictionary, and the data items which are listed, it includes all the data flow and the contents of all the data stores which are appearing on all the DFDs in the DFD model of a system. And a data dictionary, it plays a very good and important and vital role in any software development process, because we are giving you the reasons. First, a data dictionary, it provides a standard terminology for all relevant data for use by the engineers working in a project. So now they can speak up in a common language. So there is a consistent vocabulary of data items, which is very important. Since large projects have different engineers of the project, they have a tendency to use different terms to refer to same data, and that will cause confusion actually. So the data dictionary, the second is the data dictionary, it provides, or it facilitates the analyst with a means to determine the definition of different data structures in terms of their component elements. Right? The data dictionary provides the analyst with a mean to determine the definition of different data structure in terms of their component elements. Sixth is state whether the following statements are true or false and give the reason behind it. A. There's only one, I guess. The essence of any good function-oriented design principle is to map similar functions into a module and this is false. You will be tempted to answer it yes, but I'll give you the reason. Such a design would have low cohesion. Any good function-oriented design principle is to map similar function into a module. So this will give rise to low cohesion, and the function that together achieves a meaningful result should be mapped together. There has to be a functional strength in the module. What do we mean by balancing a DFD? And you can illustrate with some suitable example. But we'll try to answer it in text. The data that flow into and out of a bubble must match the data flow at the next level of DFD. This is what we call as balancing a DFD. Eighth is, what are the main shortcomings of DFD as a tool for performing structure analysis? We have seen this, but we'll try to analyze here also. There are not few, but various shortcomings of DFD models. First is DFD leave ample scope for imprecision. In the DFD model, if we judge the function performed by a bubble from its label, right? A bubble has a label, and we say that this is the function which is performed by this function by a bubble name, a label. But a short label may not capture the entire functionality of a bubble. So this becomes imprecision. Second is, the control aspects, they are not defined by DFD. For example, the order in which the inputs are consumed and the outputs they are produced by the bubble, they are not specified at all. A DFD model does not specify the order in which the different bubbles they are executed. So there is no control of the control passing or representation. So representation of these aspects, they are very important for modeling real-time systems. The third shortcoming of DFD is the method of carrying out decomposition, breaking up to arrive at successive level, different level, and the ultimate level to which decomposition is carried out. They are highly subjective, and they depend on the choice and judgment of the analyst. Because of this reason, even for the same problem, several alternative DFD representations they are possible. And many times it is not possible to say that which DFD representation is better or preferable to another one. The fourth one is the data flow diagramming technique. It does not provide any specific guidance as to how exactly to decompose a given function into its subfunctions, and we have to use subjective judgment to carry out decomposition. Ninth is, what is the significance of design reviews? Reviews are an integral part of SDLC, software development lifecycle, and you need to make a list of items that can be used as a checklist for carrying out design reviews. So design reviews help to detect various types of design flaws. If you can review it, you can find out the flaws. What can be the checklist of a design review? We can see whether all function specification can be traced to design components and vice versa. Okay, function specification traceability has to be there, in single sentence. Balancing of DFDs, this can be a point in design review, and whether all these bubbles in these DFDs, they can be traced to the modules of structure chart and vice versa. So now we have certain question, we have solution also here, and we will read it. We have to draw a labeled DFD for the time management software. You need to show the context diagram and its hierarchical decomposition up to level 2. So you have to draw a level 2 DFD. The context diagram is the level 0 DFD as we know it. So the time, this B part is, using the DFD you have to develop a part A of this question, that is you have to develop the structure design of the time management software, structural design. We'll all see all this. First let us read the time management software. A company needs to develop a time management system for its executives. The software should let the executive register their daily appointment schedules. The information to be stored includes persons with whom meeting is arranged, venue, the time and the duration of meeting, and the purpose for a specific project work. So when a meeting involving many executive needs to be organized, the system should automatically find a common slot in the diaries of the concerned executives and arrange a meeting. That is, it makes relevant entries in the diaries of all the concerned executives at the same time, at that time. It should also inform the concerned executive about the scheduled meeting through email. If no common slot is available, this time management software should help the secretary to rearrange the appointments to the executives in consultation with the concerned executive for making room for some common slot. And to help the executive check their schedule for a particular day for the system, should have a very easy to use graphical user interface. And since the executives and the secretaries have their own desktop computers, the time management software TMS should be able to serve several remote requests simultaneously. Many of the executives are they are relative novices. They are new in computers usage. So every day morning, the time management software should email every executive his appointment meetings, and the executive might mark periods for which they plan to be on leave. Also, executive might plan out the important jobs they need to do on any day at different hours and post in their daily list of engagements. Other features to be supported by the TMS are like this. TMS should be able to provide several types of statistics such as which executives spend how much time on meetings, and for which projects how many meetings were organized for with what duration and how many man hours were devoted to it. Also, it should be able to display for any given period of time the fraction of time that on the average each executive spend on meetings. So we have the solution, right? We'll try to draw the context diagram first, okay, and then we have level 1 diagram, and then we have the structure chart. So the context level is like this. This is a time management software. We have executive and secretary. These are two entities. So the context diagram will say the secretary will place a meeting date, or decide a basic meeting date. Executive may query, may make appointments, or may take the response from the time management systems. Let us go to the level 1 diagram. In this, we have executive appointments, we have a register appointment, then query appointment, email appointment, compute the statistics, and arrange the meeting. For registering an appointment, we have appointment here, and appointment register is there. For query appointment, we can have a time in which this appointment is scheduled, the appointment also. For emailing, it is able to email the appointment. Computing statistics means statistics and various other querying. Arranging meeting means you can get the email and the meeting information. So how we can make the structure chart? You have a root. You have to make a module or a function called this appointment, register appointment, query appointment, email appointment, compute statistics, and arrange meetings. Now we come to another question. This is we have to perform the structure analysis and structure design of the following software that would automate the bookkeeping activities of a 5-star hotel. So this is a hotel automation software. A hotel has a certain number of rooms. Each room can be either single bed or double bed type, and maybe AC or non-AC type. The rooms have different rates depending on whether they are of single or double AC or non-AC types. The room tariff, however, may vary during different parts of the year depending on the occupancy rate. For this, the computer should be able to display the average occupancy rate for a given month so that the manager can revise the room tariff for the next month, either upwards or downwards by a certain percentage. Then guests can reserve rooms in advance and can reserve on the spot depending upon the availability of rooms. The receptionist would enter data pertaining to guests such as their arrival time, advance paid, approximate duration of stay, and the type of the room required. And depending on this data and subject to the availability of a suitable room, the computer would allot a room number to the guest and assign a unique token number for each guest. So if the guest can not be accommodated, the computer must generate an apology message. So the hotel catering service manager would input the quantity and the type of food items, and when consumed by the guest, the token number of the guest, and the corresponding date and time. So when a customer prepares to check out, the hotel automation software should generate the entire bill for the customer and also print the balance amount payable by him. During checkout, guests can opt to register themselves for a frequent guests program, and frequent guests should be issued an identity number which helps them to get special discounts on their bills. This is how we make it. First is our context diagram. This is the structure analysis and design for hotel automation software. This is hotel automation software. In this, first we have two entities, or rather three entities: guest, the catering service manager, and the receptionist. So the guests, they may perform some operational query like reservation information, then some frequent guest ID also, and responses and frequent guest information. The customer, the catering service manager, they must know about the food, the response to the food, and receptionist may check out information or availability it can check, and the bill also can be produced. This is the context diagram. Now we come to level 1 diagram. So we have room booking and food data. These are two things. For room booking, reserve room can be an option. Then reservation response, doing a reservation. For registering food, food data, food response. For say this preparing for checkout, bill, checkout information. And for frequent guests, some frequent ID can be generated and frequent guest information can be entered. So this is the structure chart. We have route. So we have to following submodules. That is reserving room, preparing checkout, registering food, and registering frequent guests. Now we have one more question, or we have to make again the context diagram and the level 1 diagram and the this is the structure chart. So we have to do structure analysis and design for a book automation software. Let us see. We have to perform the structure analysis and structure design for a software to be developed for automating various bookkeeping activities for a small bookshop. From a discussion with the owner of the bookshop, the following user requirement have been arrived at. So these are the requirements: bookshop automation service or software. BAS should help the customer query whether a book is in stock. The user can query the availability of the book either by using the book title or by using the name of the author. If the book is not currently being sold by the bookshop, then the customer is asked to enter full details of the book for procurement of the book in future. The customer can also provide his email address so that he can be intimated automatically by the software as and when the book copies are received. If a book is in stock, the exact number of copies available and the rack number in which the book is located should be displayed. If the book is not in the stock, the query for the book is used to increment the request field for the book. The manager can periodically view the request field of the books to arrive at a rough estimate regarding the current demand of the different books, and BAS should maintain the price of various books. As soon as the customer selects his book for the purchase, the sales clerk would enter the ISBN number of the books, and BAS should update the stock and generate the sales receipt of the book. BAS should allow employees to update the inventory when a new supply arrives. Also, upon request by the owner of the bookshop, BAS should generate sales statistics like book name, publisher, ISBN number, number of copies sold, and the sales revenue for any period. The sales statistics will help the owner to know the exact business done over any period of time, and also to determine the inventory level required for various books. The inventory level required for a book is equal to the number of copies of the book sold over a period of 1 week multiplied by the average number of weeks it takes to procure the book from its publisher. Every day, the bookshop owner would give a command to the BAS to print the books which have fallen below the threshold and the number of copies to be procured along with the full address of the publisher. So this is how we make the context diagram here. This is a BAS, and what are the entities here? Employee, sales clerk, customer, manager, and the owner. So we have various different interactions. Like in customer, we have it can query BS and it can get the response. And say email signature is there, bill is there, and books which are below threshold. These are different functions. So employee may create new supply data, and all these can be depicted here as given in this question. About context diagram for the level 1 DFD, we can have a demand, inventory, and sales. So we can view the demand, we can register book on request, while in inventory we can handle the query. Also in inventory we can print the data. For sales request, we can generate the statistics like statistics period, and we can handle the sales also via bill and sales data. And we can also update the inventory, we can email them. The structure chart would be like this. This would be made a route. We can view demand, we can register new request and handle query, update inventory, and this sales, generate statistics, and print the bills, etc. Now we have another question called we have to do the structure analysis and structure design. The answer is something like this. For the following road repair and tracking software, RRTS, to be developed for automating various bookkeeping activities associated with the road repairing task of the Public Works Department of the Municipal Corporation of a large city. So what is this RRTS? A city corporation has branch offices at different suburbs of the city. Residents raise repair requests for different roads in the city. These would be entered into the computer system by the clerk. Soon after a repair request is raised, a supervisor visits the road, studies the severity of the road condition. Depending on the severity of the road condition and the type of the locality, that is commercial area, busy area, relatively deserted area, he determines the priority of carrying out the repair work. Priority. Okay. So the supervisor also estimates the raw material requirement for carrying out the repair work, the types and the number of machines required, and the numbers and types of personnel required. So based on this data, the computer system should schedule and repair of the road depending on the priority of the repair work and the subject of the availability of raw material, machines, and personnel. So this schedule report is used by the supervisor to direct different repairs work. The manpower and machine that are available are entered by the city corporation administrator. He can change these data anytime. Of course, any change to the available manpower and machine would require a reschedule of the projects. The mayor of the city can request for various road repair statistics, such as the number and the type of repair carried out over a period of time and the repair work outstanding at any point of time and the utilization statistics of the repair manpower and the machine over any given period of time. So the answer would be like this. This is RRTS. So we have a manager, clerk, a supervisor, and the administrator. Okay. So the manager can have statistics requests, get the statistics. Clerk can have repair requests. Then the administrator can get the response of the data. The supervisor has various tasks: estimate date, schedule request, and this schedule report. This is level 1 diagram. We have resource here, schedule here, and repair request date. So this is the entering resource data inside the resource available data can be get. The registering of repair request, the schedule report is there with schedule request and schedule reporting. In this, we can compute statistics like statistics and schedule report. We can enter the estimate by estimating the data. This is how level 1 diagram can be made. The root in the structure chart can have the subfunctions like entering resource data, registering repair request, entering estimate, scheduling the repairs, and computing the statistics. We have another question of the same sort. This is a RAS, Restaurant Automation System. So the question or requirement is like this. The answer is like this. A restaurant owner wants to computerize his order processing, billing, and accounting activities. He also expects the computer to generate statistical reports about sales of different items. A major goal of this computerization is to make supply ordering more accurate so that the problem of excess inventory is avoided, as well as the problem of non-availability of ingredients required to satisfy orders for some popular items is minimized. The computer should maintain the prices of all the items and also support changing the prices by the manager. So whenever any item is sold, the sales clerk should enter the item code and the quantity sold. The computer should generate bills whenever food items are sold. So whenever ingredients are issued for preparation of food items, the data is to be entered into the computer. Purchase orders are generated on a daily basis. Whenever the stock of any ingredient falls below a threshold value, the computer should calculate the threshold value for each item based on the average consumption of this ingredient for the past 3 days, and assuming that a minimum of 2 days stock must be maintained for all ingredients. Whenever the ordered ingredients arrive, the invoice data regarding the quantity and price is entered. If sufficient cash balance is available, the computer should print checks immediately against invoice. Monthly sales receipt and expense data should be generated whenever the manager would request to see them. So this is the context diagram. This is RAS software. We have manager, sales clerk, and now manager of course has to ask for statistics. He can get these statistics. Sales clerks can have a request for a sales data from RAS. The clerk ingredient issued and ingredients procured. So the generation of purchasing order can be made here. Also, the purchasing order and check and bill, all these are separate entities. Level 1 DFD, we have various options here. This expense, sales, and investments. So or ingredients you can say. Then these issued ingredients can be here. That is, ingredients are issued. We can have purchasing here, handling purchasing order, computing statistics, and here we can handle issues like balance sheets, this data. We can have enter new supplies. We can have check in. We can say that ingredients are received. In the main, we can have enter new supply, handle the sales, issue ingredients, handle purchase, and compute the statistics. Now we have question number 15. We have just seen this one. So again, SA and SD has to be done on Judiciary Information System, JIS. So the Attorney General's office has requested us to develop a Judiciary Information System to handle court cases and also to make the past court cases easily accessible to the lawyers and judges. For each court case, the name of the defendant, defendant's address, the crime types, thefts, arson, etc. When committed, date, where committed, location, and name of the arresting officer and the date of the arrest are entered by the court register. Each court case is identified by a unique case identification number, CIN, which is generated by the computer. The registrar assigns a date of hearing for each cases. For this, the registrar expects the computer to display the vacant slot on any working day during which the case can be rescheduled. Each time a case is adjourned, the reason for adjournment is entered by the registrar and he assigns a new hearing date. A hearing date takes place on any day of a case, and the registrar enters the summary of the court's proceedings and assigns a new hearing date. Also, on completion of a court case, a summary of the judgment is recorded and the case is closed, but the details of the case is maintained for future reference. Other data maintained about a case include the name of the presiding judge, the public prosecutor, the starting date, and the expected completion date of a trial. The judge should be able to browse through all the old cases for guidance of their judgment, and the lawyer should also be permitted to browse old cases, but should be charged for each old case they browse. Using this JIS software, the registrar for the court should be able to query the following. What are these? The currently pending court cases. In response to the query, the computer should print out the pending case sorted by CIN. For each pending case, the following data should be listed: the data in which the case started, the defendant name, the address, the crime detail, the lawyer's name, the public prosecutor name, and the attending judge name. Second thing is the cases that have been resolved over any given period, that is, the output in this case should chronologically list the starting date of the case and the CIN and the date which the judgment was delivered, the name of the attending judge, and the judgment summary. C is the case that are coming up for hearing on a particular date, and D the status of any particular case which are identified by CIN. So this is the context diagram. This is the JIS, right? The registrar, first of all, let us see the lawyer. The lawyer can request the data and can get the data. And we have registrar with some CIN number. He can query, he can ask for the data, and he may get these vacant slots and etc. in the results. This is the level 1 DFD. We have case here, the schedule, and the various case data requests. That is, you can browse the case. Old case records are here. So browsing the case can get the data and upon some request. In the schedule case, upon the case scheduling data, we can get the vacant slots in the schedule. The registrar court case, with respect to some case request, he can get the CIN of that case. And the register closing, that is, it can get the closing information. Also, this structure chart will show the schedule case, the registrar court case, or registering of court case, the registering of this cases which are closed, and these are the browsing of cases. And you can add one more, because lawyer and registrar are there, the judges also are there. So judges can also perform these activities which are given. Then we have another question. These are just for ideas. You can make your own. These are just for ideas. To don't go by this, that this may not be computed, this may complete. This is just a rough idea which can be given to you. And this is given by Dr. Rajiv Mar itself. This is not what we have created. So question 16 is perform SASD on LIS. Library Information System. So different activities of the library of our institute pertaining to the issue and the return of the books by the members of the library and various queries regarding books as listed below are to be automated. The library has 10,000 books. Each book is assigned a unique identification number. We call it ISBN number. The library clerk should be able to enter the details of the book into the LIS through a suitable interface. There are 4 categories of members of the library: undergraduate students, postgraduate students, research scholars, and the faculty member. Each library member is assigned a unique library membership code number. Each undergraduate student can issue up to 2 books for 1 month duration. Each postgraduate student can issue up to 4 books for 1 month duration. Each research scholar can issue up to 6 books for 3 months duration. Each faculty member can issue up to 10 books for 6 months duration. So the LIS should answer user queries regarding whether a particular book is available. If a book is available, LIS should display the rack number in which the book is available and the number of copies available. LIS register should book issue to a member. When a member returns a book, LIS deletes the book from the member's account and makes the book available for the further issue. Members should be allowed to reserve books which have been issued out. When such a reserved book is returned, LIS should print a slip for the concerned member to get the book issued and should disallow issue of the book to any other members for a period of 7 days until the member who has reserved the book gets it issued. So when the members returns a book, LIS prints a bill for the penalty charge for the overdue books, and LIS calculates the penalty charge multiplying the number of days the book is overdue by the penalty rate. LIS prints reminders messages for the members against whom the books are overdue upon a request by the librarian. And LIS should allow the librarian to create a delete member records. Each member should be located a unique membership identification number which the members can use to issue, return, and reserve book. So this is an example being an answer provided by Dr. Rajiv Mar. This is an LIS. You have librarian, you have a library user, you have library member. So library member can issue, can return, can do reservations, and the library user can query, can get the details, and librarian can print, he can also do some query. This is the bill formation, etc. Level 1 of DFD has member record, has book record, and or say book refund. So we can issue the book, querying the book, managing the membership, also reserving a book, printing the details, and returning the book. A root may have, see, the root is different here, means the structure chart is different here. Here you have manage membership, booking the transaction, query booking, and print reminder. In this book transaction, you can issue the book, return the book, and reserve it. Now we have another question, which is again SASD for medicine shop automation software. So a retail medicine shop deals with a large number of medicines procured from various manufacturers. A shop owner maintains a different medicine in wall-mounted and numbered racks. So a shop owner maintains a few inventory for each item as reasonable to reduce inventory overheads after being inspired by the JIT philosophy, just in time. So one important problem the shop owner faces is to be able to order items as soon as the number of items in the inventory reduce below a threshold value. The shop owner wants to maintain medicine to be able to sustain selling of about 1 week. To calculate the threshold value for each item, the software must be able to calculate the average number of medicine sales for 1 week for each part. At the end of each day, the shop owner would require the computer to generate the items to be ordered. So the computer should print out the medicine description, the quantity required, and the address of the vendor supplying the medicine. The shop owner should be able to store the name, address, and the code numbers and the medicine that each vendor deals with. So whenever new supply arrives, the shop owner would enter the item code number, quantity, batch number, expiry date, and the vendor number. The software should print out a check favoring the vendor for the item supply. So when the shop owner procures new medicine, it had not dealt with the earlier. He should be able to enter the details of the medicine, such as the medicine trade name, generic name, vendors who can supply this medicine, unit selling, and purchasing price. So the computer should generate a code number for this medicine, which the shop owner would paste the code number in the rack where the medicine would be stored. The shop owner should be able to query about a medicine either using its generic name or the trade name, and the software should display its code number and the quantity present. At the end of every day, the shop owner would give a command to generate the list of medicine which have been expired. It should also prepare a vendor-wise list of the expired items so that the shop owner can ask the vendor to replace these items. Currently, this activity alone takes a tremendous amount of labor on the part of the shop owner and the major motivator for the automation endeavor. Whenever any sales occur, the shop owner would enter the code number of the medicine and the corresponding quantity sold. The MSA should print out the cash receipt. The computer should also generate the revenue and the profit for any given period. It should also show vendor-wise payment for the period. This is the answer. We have MSA software, in this we have a shop owner, and everything the shop owner has to do. So he can get the statistics, he can query, he can get the response, he can get the details, supply detail, he can check the expiry, he can generate the order, he can also get the sales detail, all these from MSA software. Apart from this, he can also provide the get the purchase order, expired medical list, and the bill. Right? This is the level 1 of DFD. This is the inventory. This is the medical list. This is the sales. So sales detail can be requested. Bill can be generated. New medicine detail can be placed, and this can be updated as a new medicine. Updating the inventory, that is new supply is coming. So the idea can be taken here, or the list can be taken here. Then querying the medicine. So query we can get the response from the query detail. This is the ordering of medicine. That is, we can have an order here and we can get the purchase order. We can generate the statistics. That is, we can have a statistic request and a generation of statistics. This is level 1 DFD, updating medicine, adding new medicine, selling sales of medicine, then querying the medicine, ordering of medicine, and generating the statistics. So these were the function-oriented design aspects, questions and answers in the chapter of our book of Rajib Mal's books. Thank you so much. Take care.